This is quite a few years ahead of time for you guys, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to get a little head start, to see where you're going, to see where you're projecting to go in 5 years, in 8 years, in 10 years. How many people have actually set up a little plan for themselves? Where am I going to be in 5 years? Where am I going to be in 10 years? So that's a good thing to do. Although a lot of times I look back and I'm like, okay, I thought I was going to be here in 5 years, but I followed what my passion and my paths have led, and they have led in different paths. But it's always good to have an idea. If you don't have an idea and you don't have a plan, then you're not going to be as successful as you want. And also, when you graduate, that's going to be very exciting. When you pass the BOC, very exciting, because you have worked hard and planned to get there. So without a plan, your chances of failure increase. So we're going to start with entering the workforce. You have your resume. Okay. Now this you should already. You can probably even start now. You keep it running. You keep an ongoing resume. You add the new things. You change things. You have your friends look over it. You don't want any typos at all on your resume. I train the top 4 executives in a corporation. They're in a real estate company, different, complete field. This morning I trained them, and I said, all right, guys, tell me, why they're doing push-ups and their workout. I said, tell me what you guys look for when you interview people in your resumes. They said for resumes, if there's a typo, they toss it out. If one guy said he looks at the watermark, and if you do a watermark on your resume, he looked up and he said it was backwards, tossed it out. Because they're weeding through all these resumes to actually get somebody's that they're going to look at. Okay, they look at where they go, but they also want to see what it's like. So you have 1 page. It should all be short, sweet, to the point, 1 page. And also you're telling a story about yourself. Okay, if you're going to do it by dates, you're going to follow through. They want to kind of get a feel of who you are from your resume. One-liners. Everything you can put in 1 line. Pack it full. Because again, you have the 1 page. Format. What do you want on your resume? Do you want skills? Do you want your interests at the bottom? Do you want, maybe you don't have a lot of work experience yet. So for that you could put skills. You could put, I'm a hard worker, I persevere, I'm determined. That's a skill set. So a lot of different formats. And again, you guys, like I think Jean said, you guys are going to have this in a class. But what you also want to do is look online. There's a lot of different formats. Start it now and keep it going. Because, I've been doing this for 14 years. I think I've pulled my resume out a matter of maybe 2 times. 1 has just been recently. But I've kept it going all these years. Because I need it. You don't want to think back and say, what did I do? What have I accomplished? So, you keep putting it on and changing it. And it has to be clear. You want to articulate who you are, what you've done, what year you did it in, and then have it gone. So that's your resume. So, start that now. It's never too soon to start it. So the next thing is your interview. Of course, we know to be on time, just like class. You guys, what you're doing now are going to be habits you're building for later in life. Okay? You dress to impress, like your president, Tom. He's dressed to impress today. Okay? Dressed like this. You're not going to go in, I think Andy said this, into khakis and your Mason shirt, because that's professional for here, but you don't know what school you're going to be at, so you don't have their sweatshirt yet, and you haven't earned that yet, so you're going to dress to impress. You have years to wear your khakis. Get a nice outfit. You only need 1 to wear. And have a presence. When you walk into the room, let them know, who you are. Have a presence. Listen to them. They will tell you what they're looking for. So be very in tune to what they're telling you. Have some questions ready. Be prepared to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. We probably know a lot of our strengths, but do we know our weaknesses? Because that's what they're interested in. Okay, when someone's going to interview you, they're going to ask you your weaknesses, and you want to be honest with them, because then that shows you're an honest person, and no one's perfect, so you're going to have some weaknesses, so you want to make sure you're focusing on both strengths and weaknesses. Okay, and then let your personality shine through. Because the most important thing in the real work world is your personality. People want to like you, and they want to work with people they like. They don't want to work with a jerk. nobody likes, because then it's just no fun. Okay, so everybody in the work world wants to have fun, wants to enjoy what they do. So let your personality shine through. And do you like them? Do you like working for that person? Also, my 4 executives this morning in an interview, they said they love to ask college students how they do with group projects. They say, what position do you hold when you're doing a group project? Are you the leader? Are you the statistician? What do you do? Because that tells them so much about your personality, who you are, what you bring to the table. Are you a team player? And then they also asked the question, they said that, what don't you like, who don't you like to work with in your group project? What don't you like? And so they will listen to that, and then they will know what you can work with, what you can't work with, what kind of, it'll tells you a lot. So you're really telling a lot about that person, how you carry yourself, everything in the interview. Okay, and then why should they hire you? Well, if you have a sense of self-worth, they're going to see that too. Okay, you're worthy of working as an athletic trainer of wherever you want to work at, and for 4 years, you have worked hard to gain the skills that you're going to have. And then you've already gone and passed the DOC and grad school, so you guys have worked hard. So, you're worth it. So you want to show them that. That's why they should hire you. Without you, they're going to suffer. That's the attitude and the mindset that you want to go in and have. Okay, so that's kind of what, I'll go back to the other one. But put yourself where you want to be, okay? So that mindset. So let me click back here. Okay, so this is how I've done for 14 years. I've just, been an athletic trainer as a secondary job. I have my own business, and also on my business cards and everything I listed, I put myself as an athletic trainer as well. I put myself in a field of people that, of strength coaches, of people that were a little different, and I had a little different skill set. But I also really marketed myself. I got to know everybody. I got everybody's business card along the way. And so by the time for athletic training it came, the only athletic trainer people knew were me. So they called me in. My friends, Kim, we need somebody for the Michael Jordan Capital Classic team. We need an athletic trainer. Will you come down and be that? I said, yep. And then I got to meet Michael Jordan, shook his hand. He gave me a shirt that, went down to my ankles. But he's like, thank you so much for being here. I did the NFL combines, juniors for high schools, and then after high school, because the strength coaches, I knew those guys, and they're like, we need an athletic trainer for this. Kim, we need you to come in. So, you just got to really market yourself, and who do you know? Where do you want to find a job? Where do you want to work? And then start from there, okay? Professional networking is where you want to do, and attending conferences, that combines everything. You don't know who you're going to meet as another athletic trainer, who you can get their card, who you can model yourself after, put yourself where you want to be. When I first started out, I came from a town that no one's ever heard of. I graduated with 42 people in my high school. That high school doesn't even exist anymore. But I went and I took a local certification after I got my bachelor's degree because I knew I wanted to get into prevention. Okay, I'd seen a lot of athletes get injured, and I wanted to see how I could prevent more of these injuries. So for me, that's why I took the route I did. So when I went to get my certification, I had this guy, to speak to us, and he said, hey, if you want a job, if you want to, come down, take my business card. I took his business card, I showed up, and he's like, oh, okay, you want to work? You can work. And that's how you want, if you want to get a job, you got to put your face in the door. Okay, you got to put yourself in there. Maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but if I want something, I go after it, and I walk in the door, and I say, this is who I am. And if they want me, great. If they don't, that's great. But at least, instead of just kind of filtering through resumes, they get to see a face with that resume. And that speaks volume. Okay, so you can combine all those and just create a good strategy for yourself. Also, at the same time, I'm still doing it. Okay, you don't settle and you don't arrive at a place. Once you get all these certifications and degrees, you're not going to arrive anywhere. You want to always keep your resume going. You want to keep it fresh because maybe you want to change or do something a little different. Okay? So put yourself where you want to be. Where do you see yourself working? What do you see yourself doing? Who do you see yourself working with? Set your to it, and then you'll do it. Okay? So, and you want to be honest. You want to have integrity. As an athletic trainer, these are the things that we do. This is part of who we are. Okay? And that will shine through when you go to get a job in your interview. That's the stuff you want to shine through. Boundaries. The other girls also mentioned this really well. Set boundaries for yourself. If you need time off, you know that your brain shuts off 12 o'clock noon on Fridays, you have to shut it down, then you need to figure out a way to do that. Okay? So set your boundaries for yourself so you don't get to the point where you burn out. And what is your fulfillment, enjoyment, and you want to continue to fuel your passions. So setting your boundaries, creating your character of who you are. Are you going to do things when no one else is looking? That's your character. That's your integrity. That's the person you want to be, and that's going to carry you through, and people will see that. I mean, when we look around and see who our friends are, we look at things that are unspoken, not spoken, right? We know the other person by their actions and what they do, okay? And like I said, you're never going to arrive. You're always going to be keeping things fresh, keeping things new for yourself. All right? And that's it. So do you guys have any questions about the real world?
Is it as hard to find a job as it seems, or as everyone says it is?
Personally, I think if you allow yourself to network and to really see the opportunities, I don't think it's as hard as people say it is. I mean, yes, in a general, if you look at America and people have graduated and don't have jobs for 2 years, right now I have in the mix, I can name 3 or 4 things that I could go to and get a job or make a job for myself. There's a private school, Holton Arms, the athletic trainer there, I know her well. She's gone on maternity leave a couple times. I filled in for her. I know that I could potentially have a job there if she decides that she wants to go, because I've kept that in my file, in my thoughts. So keep things, in action. Okay, I have another. You just have to keep things going. Okay, whichever. That way, I feel like maybe it's because of where I came from, but I feel like I like to keep doors open and never burn bridges. So that way, I have opportunities to make positions for myself. I have 2 orthopedic surgeons that said, "Kim, we'd love to have an athletic trainer work in our office." They were talking about me, not just any athletic trainer. They don't have an athletic trainer. If you ever want to come in and work in our setting, please let us know. And I've just kind of decided what I wanted to do and set my path. But I know that I could walk in that door and potentially have a job. So that's how you want to set up for yourselves. The jobs are available. It's just about selling yourself, really.
Like, as a student, how would you, recommend us to start networking? So we can have, those opportunities for when we are graduating?
I would say to start at your clinical setting. I just saw today at the health fair, there's a sports, I know there's, this unknown chiropractor, physical therapist, this underlying thing. But he was a sports chiropractor right out there. Maybe, I wonder if he works within teams. And I wonder if he knows anybody that may need an athletic trainer. Grab his card, you can start your little file. So anything you come across, attending the conferences, attending, you guys don't need CEUs yet, but just kind of getting yourself out there. Stop, if you see a clinic, stop in. Go visit schools. So just start kind of putting yourself in those positions. The work world is not as scary as you think it is. Actually, going back and getting my master's degree 2 years ago was pretty scary. But it took me to another level. It took me to another place where, I was still continuing to push myself. And that never ends. You never want to say, I've arrived and settle in. Plus, you have 75 CEUs to continue that won't let you sit still. Any more questions?
That wraps up our presentation portion of the event. Now we can all have a casual snack conversations with our presenters. I want to thank Kimberly, Jean, Ashley, Andy, and especially I'd like to thank Katie Taylor and